Hello, boys and girls and cougar parents. Let's take a look at tonight's homework. Tonight we are multiplying and dividing scientific notation numbers. Now it's really, if you go back to our exponent unit, unit 3, we were multiplying exponents and different expressions. It's really the same thing. You just have to combine like terms, whether you're multiplying or dividing. You have to say, okay, these are common terms. I can combine these, I can multiply them, or I can divide them. And don't forget about your exponential laws. When you multiply an exponent times an exponent, you just add the powers. When you divide an exponent by an exponent, you subtract the powers. And if you take an which we won't be doing that. We won't be doing that. You're just multiplying and dividing. Okay, let's try a couple problems together. Boys and girls, let's take a look at our first two examples of how to multiply and divide scientific notation. Now, it's almost like just simplifying a mathematical expression. The first thing you want to do is you want to combine like terms when multiplying. Now over here I have 7 times 10 to the 8th power times 9 times 10 to the 6th power. Combine like terms. Well, the 7 and the 9 I can combine. 7 times 9 is 63. And then the 10 to the 8th power times 10 to the 6th power, that's going to be 10 to the 8 plus 6 power. We're just multiplying exponents. When you multiply exponents, the base stays the same, and you just add the powers. So altogether, we would have 63 times 10 to the 14th power, because 8 plus 6 is 14. Now, there's one more thing I should do. If I want to write this in scientific notation, we know right here, this base number here, 63, is not greater than 1 and less than 10. It's greater than 10. So we have to make it somewhere between 1 and 10. So that would be 6.3. And if I do that, I'm going to have to increase my exponent by 1, because now I need to bump it over this decimal point one place over just to get it to be 63, and then 14 more times. And that's our final answer. Now, when we divide, it's the same thing, just like dividing exponents. You can divide the like terms. Okay? And when I take 3 and divide it by 8, let's go over here. I have 3 divided by 8. 8 will not go into 3, but it will go into 30. 3 times 8 is 24. I subtract. I get 6. Bring a 0 down. 8 goes into 60 7 times. 7 times 8 is 56. I get a 4. I sense a happy ending. I bring another 0 down. 8 goes into 45 times. And I'm done. Okay, so 3 divided by 8 would be 375 thousandths times, and now my 10 to the 4th power divided by 10 to the 1st power is going to be 10 to the 3rd power, because when I have an exponent and divide it by another exponent, I just subtract powers. So it would be 4 minus 1, which is 3. Okay, but there's something I need to do here. I need to move this decimal point over 1 once again to make it scientific notation. So it would be 3.75. And if that's the case, since I'm already moving this over 1, I would have to make this 10 to the 2nd power. Oh, let's take a look at the next two problems. Number 3 here we have 4 times 10 to the 9th power divided by 5 times 10 to the 7th power. Again, we combine like terms. I can divide the 4 and the 5. I want to divide the 4 by the 5. 5 will go into 48 times. So my answer, 4 divided by 5, is 8 tenths. And then I need to multiply that by 10 to the 9th power divided by 10 to the 7th power. I'm just dividing exponents. When I divide exponents, I subtract their powers. So I'm going to get 10 The base stays the same, 10 to the second power. Now this is not written in scientific notation. This base number needs to be somewhere between 1 and 10, so I need to make this 8.0 times 10, and this time, since I moved the decimal point over 1 already, I need to just decrease that by 1 since I already moved it over 1, and that's my final answer there. 8 times 10 to the first power. Now some multiplication over here. I like multiplication. I just combine like terms. 2 times 3 gives me 6, and my exponents 10 times, or sorry, 10 to the third power times 10 to the fourth power is 10 to the 3 plus 4 power, which is 6 times 10 to the seventh power. But and my 6 right here, that is in scientific notation. I mean, I could put 6.0, still the same thing. There's my final answer. That was easy enough. Boys and girls, let's flip over to the back side of the worksheet. On the back side, we still have multiplying and dividing scientific notation, but our numbers are a little more complex. Here we have the scientific notation of 8 and 1400ths times 10 to the second power divided by 2 times 10 to the fourth power. Again, we just combine like terms. We can take 8 and 1400ths and divide it by 2. So if I take 8 and 1400ths and divide it by 2, I'm going to set up as a long division problem. 2 goes into 8 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. Get 0. I bring down a 1. 2 goes into 1 0 times. I bring down the 4. 2 goes into 14 7 times. And 7 times 2 is 14. No remainder. So this would equal 4.07. That's a great base. And then I divide my exponents of 10 to the second power divided by 10 to the fourth power, which would be 10 to the 2 minus 4 power. Let me clean that up. That's going to be 4 and 700ths times 10, and 2 minus 4 is a negative 2. Okay, and remember, you can slow this down and replay it at any point in time. Let's take a look at our multiplication problem. Over here we have 6/10, which this really isn't written in scientific notation. I don't like this. But we can still work with this. It should be, actually it should be 6.0 times 10 to the second power, because this is not true scientific notation. This should be, you guys know if you're sharp, this should be between, the base number should be between 1 and 10, and 0.6 is too low. Now over here, this is scientific notation, 1.4 times 10 to the fifth power. Okay, but we can combine like terms. I've got 6/10 times 1 and 4/10. So I got 1.4 times 0.6. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry the 2. 6 times 1 is 6 plus the 2 is 8. And then I have 1, 2 decimal place. So I go 1, 2 over. So my answer is 0.84 times, and then my 10 to the third power times 10 to the fifth power is 10 to the 3 plus 5 power. So I get 0.84 times 10 to the 8th power. Now, is this scientific notation? No. Okay, this number right here on my base is not greater than 1 and less than 10, so I need to make this 8.4. And if I do that, I'm moving the decimal point 1 to the left, which means I'm going to have to move it actually one less time, which is 7. Well, boys and girls, I hope that was helpful, and as always, if you have any questions, bring them to class tomorrow, and class is on its way. It's getting loud out in the hallways. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.